All right. I see Aimee in Hawaii, and I really want to talk to Aimee because Thanksgiving is coming up, and it's really important. So, Aimee,
hi, Aimee.
You're
on the
there.
air.
Jamie.
Wow, that was...
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Hey.
Yeah.
What would you like to talk about?
That was weird for us, too, we promise.
Well, I specifically mentioned that I want to talk about my mom. We were born, raised Lutheran, she and I both. So it's a pretty chill form of religion as far as, those Christianity things go. But she was a teacher for many years, and that I feel leads to have a very deep well of affection for humans. And when she finally retired after 30 years of being a teacher, she decided to become a pastor for the Lutheran Church, which is great.
To hear
but
that.
Please tell me that she went to go work at Garrison Keillor's show. No, I lost it. Fuck it. Never mind. Go ahead. Prairie Home Companion.
Going through seminary,
Okay.
And being very learning about the Bible and shit. Which I always wonder how people go through seminary and don't end up leaving without becoming a pastor.
A lot of them.
I'm looking at somebody right now on the other side of the glass who did just who
was preparing.
Preparing for seminary and then found their way out.
It just blows my mind that you actually I know that one of the things that seminary students do is read the Bible. They have to know the Bible cover to cover, and I just don't understand how they can read the Bible and not go, why the fuck do we believe in this person?
So you say that, but there are graduate students on the New Testament who have been asked, actually by friends of mine, okay, so, this female graduate student, so what would you say to the advice in, and now I've forgotten the citation, the one that's, I do not allow a woman to teach or have an authority over any man, that part. And she paused for a minute and went, oh, wait, can I see that part of the Bible? Because she was unfamiliar with it. So while I have, full confidence, however misplaced, in the ability of seminaries to teach parts of the Bible, there's a lot of it that slides under the radar, that slips through the cracks. I don't think that anyone memorizes the begats. I shouldn't say that. There are people.
And on top of that, you have to recognize that when you have a flawed epistemology, right, when the way that you come to know what is true about the world has these huge glaring holes in them, it just happens. I mean, it's something that sucks, and it's something that we really want to try and lead by example on and help people through. But if you think that it's reasonable, because a lot of people think it as well, you can absolutely see people getting there. And what's hilarious is it doesn't matter how intelligent you are, because actually it can backfire. I've seen it, because there are people who, I know so many other things, so I must be true about this. You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be open to being wrong about things. And that is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Especially in the political climate nowadays. By the way, Tuesday, vote. Aimee, not just you, this is everybody listening. Vote. If you haven't voted, make sure you vote. Yep. I was there day one of early voting, the morning of, and I was there. I've got to tell you,
big shot over here.
We've got a lot of things coming through that impact the separation of religion and government, and can really be an encroachment on our own ability to live without Christianity being forced down our throats. So if you get the chance to vote, please vote. Aimee, I'm sorry, I totally got off track, but you had a specific topic you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so the part of the whole situation of her becoming a pastor and having been a teacher is that she's married for 5 years and has been divorced 5 times and is now self-identifying as a lesbian. And I find that absolutely mind-boggling that she self-identifies as a lesbian, is going through seminary. She's actually planning on getting married to her current girlfriend, fiance, I guess now, in the next year. And I see all these wonderful things going on, like these great, great situations that she's going through. Like, she's learning so much about herself, but she's still so thoroughly indoctrinated in this religion, and it's largely because she's of the faith that Jesus is love and God is love and blah blah blah, and she doesn't really like identify the parts of the Bible that are really fucked up as legitimate parts of the Bible. And I don't know how to have these kinds of conversations with her. The whole, whenever it gets brought up, she ignores it. She doesn't really communicate about it with me. And when I was last in communication with her, she specifically mentioned that she stopped following me on Facebook because I share atheist memes and things of that nature. And she specifically said, it makes me uncomfortable. And all I did was say, why? Why does it make you uncomfortable? What about it makes you uncomfortable? And she sidestepped it with like, well, it makes me uncomfortable to think of my daughter having these opinions. And I don't really think it's that it's her daughter. I really think it's the opinions and how potentially factual they may be, or how much they make her think about what she believes.
So I agree. I will say, probably on your mother's behalf, that the fact that it's her daughter makes it harder to dismiss out of hand.
I know, and that's why I do it.
And so what I will say is, how close are you and your mother, if you don't mind me asking?
We're very close. Like, my whole female side of my family has always been really close.
Sisters.
Which is why this is so hard, which is why it's so frustrating.
Yeah. So what I will say is, if you take the approach of, well, I want to have these discussions, and they're clearly causing you distress that she's avoiding them, if you tell her that and you're close, that might be enough to have a more substantial conversation about it.
Yeah.
And also, you can't force it, you know. And it may take time, and what I would say is, in the long run, model the behavior. Model, saying, it's okay, I don't know, here's how I learn, let's learn things together. It takes a long time. It is a long process. And especially if you're that ingrained, giving her the tools, helping her with those tools, and finding ways to use those epistemological tools outside of religion, and showing that this is why it's a good thing to believe this. This is why it's a good thing, to reject that, and how you are able to tell the difference. That could help her. That way she can start applying that without you being there, and just getting there and seeing the use of it. But yeah. I really hope things go well. I can't help but think of all the people who are going into Thanksgiving right now here in the United States who are going to be spending time with family. I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of people have been reaching out online saying, I'm going to be surrounded by people who absolutely cannot see me and not proselytize to me. Or B, I can't see anyone. Nobody wants to see me anymore,
Yeah.
And
that's what Friendsgivings are for.
Well, again,
I always make sure that I reach out to anybody who needs friendship, love, affection on Thanksgiving and those holidays, because regardless of where they come from, regardless of their religious or non-religious backgrounds, like having community, having friends who care more than just about what you believe, but actually who you are and what you love and don't love, it can be life-changing.
It can. And when you have the chance to open up to other people, that is the part that comes after, right? There's the anger, there's the frustration, there's the wanting to argue about it, there's the wanting to talk to people about it. But in the end, you still have to decide how you're going to be as a person. And what we recommend, outside of just skepticism, which is incredibly important, it's humanism. It's reaching out and being a good person, and it's not saying that you've got to be under my flag or for me to care about you.
Yeah.
So, Cheers. I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really, really glad to hear that. And I hope that people watching who can do, because that's how we make a better world.
I agree.
So do you feel like we got to most of your question? Did you have another part of it that you wanted to ask about?
No, I think that was really great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks
Big
for
hug.
calling in.
Take care, Aimee.
Yeah.
Of course, you too.
All right. Well, yeah. So now that the we've addressed her question, I will say, yeah, it's important to remember that Christians are humans too. Your family, breathes air just like you, and so it's important to remember that we're all in this together. Yes, we are.
And
etc.
also, your happiness is important. Your happiness is more important than suffering. If you're in a situation where you would be tormenting yourself because of it, don't do it to yourself. I've seen people who cannot. I mean, really, don't look forward to the holidays because it is a time of pain. Because they are knowing that they're going to a place to interact with people who dislike them, or it's a place of abuse. You don't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. And if you don't have the community, that's because you need to build it. So let's do it. All right. I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I wasn't going to, but I'm glad you did. So
I'm thinking numero uno, because
let's do it.
Robert has been waiting this entire episode, and I appreciate you waiting. Robert, you're live with Eric and Jamie. How's it going? Roberto, Babe. All right, we're going to pop you back on hold in 3, 2, 1.